this is case number 25H0111 People State of Michigan versus Henry Goodman.
Courtney Rose on behalf of the speaker.
Good morning, Your Honor. Mike Riccadello on behalf of the he is standing to my right. Mr. Goodman, state your name for the record, please. Henry Goodman. Thank you.
Okay. All right. Well, Mr. Goodman, we're here for sentencing. This is on one count of assault and battery. I do have the pre-sentence report here. Did you have a chance to look at it, and is it factually accurate?
Your Honor, my client and I have had the opportunity to review it. It is factually accurate.
Okay. I have also your sentencing memo. And I have an email statement from the alleged victim as well, Ms. Burbank, and I've read everything. So, did you have anything you wish to state on behalf of your client?
Your Honor, was the mental health evaluation also enclosed with the PSI?
Let's see that. I got the police
Provided to Ms. Fanning.
Yeah. Back. Oh.
Thank you, Your Honor. Would you like me to do my allocution first, or would you like Ms. Burbett to read her victim statement first?
You can go ahead and do your allocution first.
Thank you. Your Honor, I've been representing my client since 10/29/2025, the date of this incident. I went to the Beverly Hills, the Birmingham Police Department, where my client was lodged for a day and a half. My client's story has not changed. What we do know is that a knife was pulled. He has admitted that to the mental health evaluator. He admitted that to the PSI. Ms. Fanning, who conducted the PSI.
The way I read it was they were having a conversation about a weapon, and if he has a weapon, and he said she has to show it to him, so he pulled out
the story that I got, and he pulled out a knife, showed the weapon, and he certainly can understand how that put someone in fear. Your Honor.
After she asked to see it.
Correct. That's what the statement was.
Okay.
Nevertheless, Your Honor, my client accepted responsibility. He has accepted responsibility that he put himself, as well as Ms. Burbett, in a precarious situation. My client is 77 years old, in an aging, failing health. He has a wife who's in the courtroom, who's 80 years old, who in February of 2025, she had hip replacement. 3 months after she fell and shattered her other hip, Mr. Goodman was unable to pick her up. She had another surgery. It's taken 9 months to recover. Mr. Goodman is her caretaker. I submit to you, he is 77 years old. He has no prior criminal history. These parties are neighbors. They don't like each other. There's an ongoing dispute. Since the date of the incident, my client has not had any contact with Ms. Burbett. He has abided by all orders of the court. He turned in, for safekeeping, the weapons out of his home. He turned over his CPL. He has abided by everything that I have told him to do, as well as the court. I had him submit to a mental health evaluation on my advice and counsel. I wanted to see what was going on. I wanted to see where he was at. The PSI, along with the mental health evaluation, both concluded the same thing, that Mr. Goodman had never done this before, and that he does not have mental health illness, and that he is not a risk to reoffend in this fashion. My client will admit that he let his emotions get the best of him with this ongoing neighbor dispute. He has spoken with Beverly Hills Public Safety on how to address a situation if someone comes onto his property. Again, this clearly was not the way to handle it. He understands that, Your Honors. I would also like to point out Mr. Goodman's own health. He's got high blood pressure. He's got arrhythmia. He had a lower lambectomy in 2022, and he still sees a doctor for the spine issues, and he's still under orders to not lift more than 30 to 40 pounds. Further, he sees someone for cognitive decline, memory issues. That's managed with medication. Nevertheless, he is seeing ongoing medical professionals for his ailment. Your Honor, being that my client has never been in this situation before, I am asking you to adopt the recommendation that Ms. Fanning listed in her PSI. She had a good conversation with Mr. Goodman. The mental health evaluator had a good conversation with Mr. Goodman, and both of them feel comfortable making the recommendations in their professional capacity that they have done. Your Honor, I would ask you to take into consideration everything that Mr. Goodman has done leading up to this and shown the good character in his community. He's been a member of the Beverly Hills community for 50 years. He's been married to his wife for 50 years. He went to the Wayne State College of Pharmacy during that time. And after, he went to schools around the Oakland County area to educate students on the dangers of prescription medication. That's something that he feels very strongly about. And in his career, he was a kinetic dosing pharmacist in Botsford Hospital. He was a hospital pharmacist tasked with saving lives alongside doctors. Given the opportunity, he will show you and prove to you that he is deserving of a sentence to prove to your honor that this is not something that is indicative of his character, and he will successfully move past this, and there will be no more neighbor issues between Mr. Goodman. Thank you, Your Honor.
All right. People wish to be heard?
Yes, Your Honor. Would you prefer that I proceed first or
Whichever way you want.
Okay. Your Honor, the pre-sentence investigation report calls for a sentence of fines and costs, which is simply not appropriate in a case like this. Under People v. Snow, 386, Michigan 586, an appropriate sentence should give consideration to the reformation of the offender, the protection of society, the discipline of the offender, and the deterrence of others from committing the same offense. Defendant pled no contest in this case as charged to the assault and battery charge, meaning he agreed for purposes of the plea that the facts in the police report are true. In the police report, and I'm sure you'll hear from Ms. Burbett herself, what really happened that day was that the defendant grabbed Ms. Burbett's arm and tried to shove her to the ground while pulling out a knife and telling her he knows how to use it. This could have been charged as a felony, Your Honor, but the people gave consideration already to the defendant's age and circumstances in bringing this misdemeanor charge. But this is a serious crime. I'd like to talk first about the reformation of the offender. We have seen no significant acceptance of responsibility from defendant. The story that he has concocted about pulling out a knife because she has to see it is ridiculous. As counsel admitted on the record, these neighbors do not get along. Ms. Burbett would have no interest nor desire to see any sort of weapon that Mr. Goodman may be carrying on that date. It was pulled out in a threatening manner and used against her. Secondly, under Snow, the protection of society. Mr. Goodman presents himself in this courtroom with a cane, walking slowly, and I see that. I don't know Mr. Goodman personally, but Ms. Burbett does. She's indicated to me that he's out there doing the yard work with no problem. He blows the snow with no problem. He's putting on an act for this court is the position of the complainant here today. In fact, from what I've heard from Ms. Burbett, Mr. Goodman has a pretty violent history with her in that he has threatened her before and caused her some extreme anxiety in the past. Again, this could have been charged as a felony given the use of the knife. It's a very serious crime. Third, Your Honor, we are to look at the protection of society, the discipline of the offender, and the deterrence of others from committing the same offense. Ms. Burbett will tell you about her injury. When Mr. Goodman threw her to the ground, she was already in a state.
I didn't think he threw her to the ground. I thought he grabbed her arm, twisted it, and she, but for her stability, didn't fall because she said she was going to fall on the dog if she had fallen. So no, I read everything.
And she's whispering in my ear as well. But I know that she did sustain a shoulder injury as a result of the grab.
Right.
So
I saw that.
That's what I'm focused on. I believe you've had surgery for that.
No, I can't have surgery because of the heart attack.
She had previous to this incident had a heart attack. So she's not able to have surgery for that injured shoulder, but I know it does still bother her.
Your Honor, what I read was that she previously needed a shoulder replacement and that it wasn't caused by this. It was exacerbated as the words that I read.
Okay.
Well, as Your Honor is aware, the law takes the victim as it finds her. In short, Your Honor, a sentence of fines and costs in an assaulted case.
I'm not going to do that, but you could keep going.
Thank you, Your Honor. Just very briefly, the people understand the defendant's circumstances and age. We are asking for some jail time so that he can have a leave it. While Your Honor is not willing to any jail, the people would be satisfied with the tether and home confinement. Thank you, Your Honor. And I know Ms. Burbett would like to make a statement.
Okay.
Your Honor, I have an email from Ms. Rosano that states that I will not be asking for jail time when her and I were going to this, and now she's completely changing course. I just wanted to make that a part of the record.
Okay.
Don't know what we were discussing during plea negotiations at that moment, but here we are today and I have made my request.
All right. Ms. Burbett, yeah, go ahead and kind of try to keep your voice up. That right there is a microphone. Yeah, and it should pick you up, okay?
Good morning, Your Honor.
Mm-hmm.
First of all, I'd like to thank you for adjourning this matter due to a doctor's appointment last week. Because of your kindness and consideration, I was able to make it on time, which was greatly appreciated. Secondly, I would like to thank you for this opportunity to speak today about the defendant's actions of Wednesday, October 29th of last year, and my resultant injuries. I wish that day had never happened, as I relive it daily. I have been a practicing attorney for over 42 years in the civil arena, and as such, I am unfamiliar with the criminal justice system. I have always been comfortable in court until today, and before I fell. Being a victim is an entirely different animal. I apologize for being nervous and ask that you please bear with me as I correct some grave misunderstandings of what happened on October 29th. On that Wednesday in October, I had just gotten off the phone with my brother, wishing him a happy birthday. He had questioned me about my health, having suffered an extreme virus, 2 months of pneumonia, and a 2-day-long heart attack in the previous year. He was understandably worried about my health. I quickly deflected his concerns by outlining my cardiac recovery with daily walks with our Cocker Spaniel, Rory. I told him as I was headed out that I was headed out as soon as I hung up with him. Every time I walk our dog, I leave via the front door, plastic pickup bags in hand, and cross directly into our neighbor's driveway, defendant's next door neighbor. Defendant's home, like ours, is on the corner of Greenfield and Arlington. That driveway does not belong to the defendant. On October 29th, our dog was following a neighbor's dog who had just rounded the corner, a route that I had not previously taken as I walked west rather than east on Arlington. Immediately upon stepping on defendant's front public sidewalk, he came out of his front door and said, "Hi, Pam." I said, "Hi, Hank," and kept walking. As I was about to head south on the Greenfield new public sidewalk, suddenly he stepped in front of me, blocking my path. I asked him what he wanted as I had acknowledged him and said hi, and he started to yell at me that our dog was pooping on his yard and that he was going to stop it now. I said that simply wasn't true, as we always went west rather than east in front of his house. He then said that things were going to happen to me and my house, and that there would be no way to trace it back to him. I tried to speak as he tried to throw me to the ground, but I was paralyzed. He violently grabbed my right arm, his strength surprising me. He then told me he had something in his pocket just for me, that he always carries it with him, and that he knows how to use it. Then he pulled out a switchblade, opened it, and smiled. I never asked him if he had a gun in his pocket. A switchblade was enough for me. I was petrified, yet had the courage to tell him I was calling the police. He laughed and said, "Go ahead," and walked away. I called the police, who arrived shortly. They told me that telling him telling the police that he had pulled a knife on me. They said that's a serious offense, accusation, Pam, and that the defendant was well known to the police, that he had admitted to brandishing a knife only after the police had asked him about it. And the defendant was not using a cane before or after he attacked me, which our neighbors can confirm. I recall multiple neighbors after the attack and my fiance, Tom, who's in the courtroom today, comforting me as I was shaking so badly that they thought I would have another heart attack. Since the attack, I've spent most of my days in bed. And I every day because I do not understand why the defendant targeted me when at least half a dozen neighbors with dogs walk past his home daily. Our dog has never urinated or pooped on his yard. Never. His pretense for impeding our walk was a bold-faced lie. When he grabbed my right arm, he left a bruise, which remained several months later. And when I tried to get away from his grip to prevent from falling, he twisted both of my already compromised shoulders. I admit my shoulders were in bad shape, as was I, but now I have no relief from the pain. I am left with daily pain in both of my shoulders, which pain medication does not dull. It is a constant reminder of what he did to me. A total reverse replacement is needed to stop the pain, but I cannot have it for at least a year from August because of the heart attack. One of my neighbors said that he was concerned that a man would lay hands on a woman, let alone pull a knife. So is my fiance, who is understandably upset. And sadly, the peace in our neighborhood, our long-standing peace, is gone. I'm a different person now than I was before that walk. I'm severely depressed. I refused to leave my house for several days after the attack out of fear. I cannot raise my left arm because of my shoulder, which is the reason why I fell. I have bladder and rectal incontinence due to my nerve and have been drained of any self-confidence. I'm a 68-year-old woman who has been blessed to have never been a victim of a crime until that day. Now, whether I like it or not, I have some sense of what people go through when they have been violated. I'm gravely concerned that the defendant will retaliate against me, or my fiancé Tom, or our precious Cocker Spaniel Rory. Our friends and neighbors say we should move, but we really enjoy our other neighbors. And why should we leave when I am the victim? It's my understanding that defendant's cache of guns and the switchblade had been removed by the police from the defendant's home, but I don't know when he'll be getting his guns and knife back. His wife told me years ago, when we were on speaking terms and very friendly, that he frequents the gun range and Civil War reenactments, which lead me to believe that he is a proficient shot. This is unnerving, to say the least. I would like the retention of his guns and knife to remain in place, as well as the no contact order. As this was the first offense of felonious assault, pled down to assault and battery, I assume the court will impose probation rather than any jail time. Excuse me. If he could serve the probation via a home confinement, that would ease my mind significantly. He never goes out anyway, except to use a snowblower, again, minus any cane. I have spoken to a victim advocate who is helping me prepare a PPO. She has helped me to understand that I was traumatized by the defendant's assault upon me. He wasn't frail when he attacked me, as he appeared last week. In an effort to help me, she provided a list of physical, cognitive, and emotional signs that are common to victims. Unfortunately, most of the listed signs applied to me. My stress reactions to the attack are inclusive of fatigue, vomiting, nausea, vertigo, grinding of my teeth, chills, rapid heart rate, heart rate, muscle tremors, memory problems, nightmares, anxiety, grief, fear, depression, feeling overwhelmed and agitation. I hope we can get past, once we get past this sentencing, I can finally begin to heal. Thank you, Your Honor, for taking the time to listen to this. It matters.
Thank you for your statement. It really gives a perspective on people sometimes think, well, this wasn't that big of a deal. And they're really not cognizant of the long-term, not only physical, but mental effects assaults can have on some people. And so we don't know, but we're thankful that you came to tell us about it today. Because this is your story and your right to tell. And hopefully, I hope it's been somewhat of a relief to you to be able to speak it, tell your truth, be heard, because we're listening. I'm listening.
Thank you, Your Honor.
And what I will say to you is, there was a phrase that my pastor would always say, don't let anybody steal your joy.
I'm trying.
No, you don't let this happen to you like this. It happened, but you keep your faith. And you don't let anybody control the outcome of what should be some of the most fun, golden years of your life. Don't let somebody do that to you. There have been people that have been raped, attacked, even worse than this. And they somehow managed to come back. So you have to see the glasses half full instead of half empty. Get your mindset right. What you went through was a trauma. No question about it. You might have PTSD even. But that's what for your therapists and people to help you understand. You get into some meditation. Yeah, things like that calm you and center you. And know your worth. Know your strength. You made it through all of those illnesses and heart attacks and all those things you just said. And you didn't have another one behind this. So you are strong. And it's okay to be weak in a minute. Just don't let that weakness consume you.
I was a very good attorney.
I'm sure you were and probably still are.
I had to resign my position at Penn State because of my health. And I haven't been back in the courtroom until now.
Yeah.
But it used to be my comfort zone.
Mm-hmm. It's the same.
And I'm ashamed.
No, ashamed of what?
Crying in front of the court.
Oh, so you're ashamed of being human? Why? You are not acting as a lawyer today. You are acting as your own advocate, as a victim. You have emotions. There's nothing wrong with crying for what you've gone through and how it's affected you. Nobody can take that part away from you. Don't let anybody tell you you should feel bad about feeling the way you feel about something that happened to you. People react differently. You might find some people say, I don't know why she's crying. I get it. I fully understand why you're upset and why you're crying. And I also understand why maybe another person with another background, another experience might not. Doesn't make one right. Just means people are different and they react differently. So there's no embarrassment here. You're not a lawyer here today. You're a crime victim. And crime victims have a right to express themselves, make statements on any aspect of how they've been affected by whatever happened to them, however small or large it may appear to be.
It's surprising how this has impacted me. I was a very strong woman.
Well, you don't think you still are?
I doubt at times.
Well, that's okay. We all doubt ourselves. It's part of being a person. But I think you're still strong because I just told you what you've told me you've been through and you're still standing. You managed to come here and make a very well reasoned, very well stated statement. Very clear, very articulate. You've lost nothing. And it takes a lot of strength to do. Some people can't do it. Some people come and sit in the back, want to say something and don't. So the fact that you even fell here today and got in that chair and came on up here anyway speaks a lot to the strength that you have. And I just need you to understand that it's okay to feel that way, but don't let this thing consume you, because then you're letting somebody else dictate your future. And it's okay to react to it. It's okay to have a feeling, but then you pick yourself up and say, this man is not, I'm not moving. Why would you move? You're not moving. It's your home. It's your neighborhood. You like your neighbor. You just don't get along with him. You're not the only neighbor that doesn't get along. I've seen plenty of it. So no, you're not going to throw in a towel. You're not going to let this whole thing dictate who you are and what your worth may be and sit at home and be doom and gloom. You're not doing that. You're going to slowly get yourself back to normal. You're going to walk that dog again. I'm sure the dog misses that.
Yeah, he does.
Yeah. You're going to go your normal route. You don't have to go by his house. Go your normal route. Show no fear. What did they say? Who was it that said, the only fear is fear itself?
I think it was the president.
Yeah, one of them. So basically, you just got to conquer the fear. I'm very sorry that you had to go through something like this, but you can ask pretty much anybody that appears before me. I'm a strong believer in sometimes things happen to us that are bad, but we come out of it better, stronger, than it's not always a bad thing. So I can't explain how or why this happened. You don't know. I don't know if he even knows what triggered him to this extent. Because I'm sorry. I'm familiar with neighbors and boundaries and people dogs going to poop on lawns and things like that. But I've never seen anything like this to get it to this level. But some people shoot people over very minor neighbors disputes too. So it's just inexplicable. So, but I do know that you got to continue to live and do the things that make you happy. And being at home and depressed in a bed, that's not making you happy. That's not who you are. Yeah, you're back in the courtroom. Courtroom's a courtroom. Yeah, this is a little different because it's criminal. But it's still a place where lawyers take command. Then they do their job and they do their work. And so you should be comfortable here under any circumstance. So, and we're going to let him make a statement in a minute too. But it's interesting, you said that based on the circumstances, you don't anticipate that I would, give him jail. But what I am going to do, and I'm thinking about doing, is putting some things in place that, number one, I got a mental health report, but something snapped here. You don't have to be mentally insane or have a mental health issue to need support. I'm going to do some things I think will help himself. I'm going to try to keep him away from you. And so you don't have to report to me on that. And hopefully impart to both of you too, the idea of what a neighborhood is supposed to be about.
I have no problems with any of my neighbors. None. And I had no problems with him. I pretended that I lived across the street from a field because I tired of the harassment.
Yeah. All right. So thank you again. Now, Mr. Goodman, this is your opportunity to address the court and address the complaining witness about this whole circumstance.
Your Honor, I have fulfilled all requirements given to me and requested that I follow and demonstrate my willingness to prevent any of this from recurring.
Okay, well, who gave you those requests to follow?
Those were the court, the police department,
You're
and
talking about bond conditions? You're talking about your bond conditions?
That's what he's saying, Your Honor, yes.
I haven't ordered anything, so I'm just wondering.
I have lived a very helping life with 50 years of service to the community, working hospital service, saving lives, treating severe life-threatening infections, with hundreds, if not thousands, of patients having been saved their lives secondary to our intervention. And letters from my directors in the infectious disease department substantiating and supporting all of that. And I am just frustrated to have heard what's been said. I cannot change what she said, although I find inconsistencies throughout them. And I am sorry that this has occurred, but it is my intention that despite living across the street from Ms. Burbett, there will be no intention of communication with her at any time in the future. And if there is an issue with her walking the dogs and they're defecating on our property, the police department has instructed me as to how to address it, where they can cite her in with violations of village and county ordinance that should resolve the problem very easily, nicely, and prevent it from reoccurring. But I do want to make one very clear point. Every time there was an incident, Ms. Burbett took it upon herself to cross from her house to ours and create the problem on our property. We responded by telling her to get back to her property.
I don't understand what you mean. She crossed the street and what's your property to do what?
When she first moved, she had minimal fencing to contain her dogs. She's had a number of dogs over the years since 2019. And the first couple of dogs routinely broke loose, came over to our property, and made a mess of our yard, especially in the areas where we were doing reconstruction. She was asked to correct it, to clean it up, and she refused to do so.
But that's not what you said, though. You said she came over to your house, specifically crossed the street over there to do something.
We're talking about the incident.
That's a different incident, Your Honor.
I'm trying to follow it.
Nevertheless, I apologize for what has occurred. It will never happen again. There will be no communication with her. But she has invariably come over since her moving there to create problems with our property. And we did not go over and provoke her.
Okay, so you didn't do any of this today. So we took your plea for no, I should let you withdraw your plea and have a trial, because I'm not hearing any accountability for the fact that you grabbed this lady and injured her arm and showed her a knife. I'm not hearing none of that. You're blaming her for crossing the street to start trouble with you. And I don't know if her dog pooped or not, but that's what dogs do. What do people walk dogs for? Dogs are gonna urinate somewhere. They're gonna poop. People pick the poop up in the poop scoopers and put them in the bag and they keep it moving. I'm not sure what you're expecting there, sir.
We expected her to clean up her mess. She had the equipment to do it. She refused to do so.
Okay, so you...
Your Honor, it's clear that this is a neighbor dispute.
Yeah, I don't need to hear from you, Mr. Riccadello. I'm talking to him. You can't fix this. I need to see where his head is. And I know you're trying to do your job.
I am.
But no, I'm doing mine, my way. And my way is to talk to him. I'm trying to understand how he's thinking, how he feels. And what he's telling me is that she's the problem, not him. I'm not hearing any words about, well, okay, if she was the problem, I shouldn't have gone as far as I did. I didn't need to be showing her no knife, and I didn't need to grab her and injure her arm. I'm not hearing nothing. No contriteness whatsoever. No remorse. Nah, Stop talking to him. Don't tell him what he needs to show. He's showing what he needs to show. This is who he is. This is honestly who he is. You telling him to be somebody different is not going to work with me. Because you know what? She said she got 40 years as a lawyer. So do I. I got just as many years as she does. And I've been doing this for over half of it. And so what I do know is people. And God gave me a very, very, very good gift of discernment. I read it well. Read people well. I listen to what they say. I don't miss anything. If I read it, I recall it. I retain it. I got a memory like an elephant that way. I see through their eyes to their souls. I can feel it come back on me sometimes. So I'm not generally wrong. I'm not perfect, but it's just a little bit of gift I've got. And it served me well over 23 years here in this court. So you telling him he needs to say something, that doesn't work with me because I can tell when somebody's just saying something.
I understand, Your Honor. I apologize.
You don't have to apologize. You're doing your job, and I get that, Ms. Riccatello. And you do your job well. I want you to know that.
Appreciate that, Your Honor.
Okay. But the bottom line is here, I got an issue with this neighbor dispute. And I'm going to do something to try to fix it to the best I can. I don't expect them to like each other. I don't expect them to really speak. But I do expect that I better not hear nothing else about this at all. This could have been a felony. All of the good works that Mr. Goodman has said he has done go shoot out the window when you get a felony, Mr. Goodman. They just do. And nobody's taking that away from you. Nobody's saying you're a bad person. I'm not saying that. I'm saying something triggered, and I don't know what it was. And I get it. People like what they like, and they like their property to look this way, and they don't want, and when I grew up, there was this lady, she was so mean, and kids would just be walking by. She was like that too. So I understand that. But in the larger scheme of life, it's petty. It's just petty. Because it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if her dog goes to the bathroom. You can't like it. But it really doesn't affect who you are as a person. No. So it doesn't really matter. We on this earth have bigger fish to fry. We got things to do. We've got people to help, people to save. We've got redemption to ask for ourselves because this little dash we live is pretty short. I don't know how I got here to this age, but I know it's not going to last. And so the only judgment is, we're all sinners. Nobody's perfect. I get that. But where's your heart? Do you want to do the right thing? Can we ask for redemption? Can we admit, okay, this wasn't good. I was wrong on this. Because ultimately, and if you hear from people that have died and come back, it's a serious experience. And many of them come back to let us know that we have to get ourselves together in this life, or else we're not going to go any place that we like. And all of the negativity and all of the evil that's going on up here now, and I'm not talking about in the government, although some people could point to that too, it's just everywhere. So why are we concerned about a dog peeing and poop to the extent that we're going to assault our neighbor? It's just when you get down to it, it doesn't matter. You might not be here tomorrow. Somebody drop an atomic bomb over here from what's going on across the way in the Middle East. We're all toast anyway.
And Your Honor, to piggyback on what you're saying, I just lost a best friend of mine who was 42 years old to a massive aneurysm.
Yeah, you don't know.
It's far too short.
It's too short for this. This is crazy. But I understand how it happens. I do. And I want to impart to Mr. Goodman a lot of things for him to think about. You don't have to like what somebody's doing, but you don't let yourself get to this point that it just erases who you really are. I mean, I read all the good things that your lawyer had to say about you in his sentencing memorandum. They were very nice things that you've done, that you've accomplished. But let me make it clear, doing nice things is not the road to get to where you want to in the next life. Because don't let me start talking for my faith and my belief. The least of these is who Jesus walked with. The tax collectors, the prostitutes. These are the people he saved. These are the people he believed in. Not because you did something good. Do you walk in the same type of light of forgiveness, belief, redemption? That's what matters. The good works won't get you there. You could be the worst person in the world and still get there. So you got to start to think about, because we're all coming close to our maker any minute now. We don't know. I lose people. I've been to so many funerals, I can't tell you.
Amen.
So the bottom line is, it's never, as long as you got breath in you, Mr. Goodman, you got a chance. Once you're dead, you can't fix it. And that's the story that I've heard from people who've come back. It's like the moaning, the sense of doom, gloom, regret, the cries for help. Nobody can help because there's nobody down there that can help you. That person is not there. There is no grace there. It's here. So change your outlook. Open your heart. Admit, this guy wasn't good. It was. She could have been severely injured way worse than she was. And I don't know any circumstance, especially this kind of thing, that's even worth arguing about. And like you said, if Beverly Hills Police gave you some things to do and you think that she did it, she says, I walked the other way. Jimmy, I just went this way one time. There's another dog there. I don't know what happened. That could be accurate. And I'm not saying somebody didn't poop on your yard. I don't know. Might not have been her dog. And if it was, you look like the kind of guy that would have pulled out a phone, take pictures, took a video, and did all of that stuff to catch her. But we don't have all of that. So, I'm concerned because I'm just not hearing the remorse. I'm not hearing the admission that I did it. I'm hearing you point to her defensively, like she caused all of this and what she did in previous time. Well, this is not previous time. This is this time. And so we have to deal with the facts of this incident. If she didn't do that this time, if she did do it before, I don't know. Came across the street and started something with you. She didn't do that. You came over and stopped her and got into an argument and touched her and showed her a weapon, which makes this really criminal to a felonious level. It was a good resolution because you got Mr. Riccadello. He's a decent lawyer. You got a prosecutor there that, she's fair. She weighs all of the things she needs to weigh and comes out with an offer that was pretty good. But you got to do some work on you now. This is your time to work on you. Not point the finger to her. Work on you. And let her work on healing. And you're right. No, you're not going to be talking to her. Nothing like this is going to happen again. But you need to calm yourself down. and probably type A or something that you don't know how to. I know who knows. I know your wife knows. I bet you she knows. She knows more than any of us that you need to calm down. So that's what you got to do. You got to work on this. And I appreciate the complaining witness being here, because we do take these things a little lightly. When she didn't get killed, no visible physical injury, but she's hurt, and she's hurt mentally. So this is what I'm going to do. Prosecutor wants some jail. I get it. I'm not going to do it. I'm not going to do it. But I can hold it over his head if he violates anything. He's never done anything in his life like this. So why would I put him under the jail? I wouldn't do that. That's not, in my view, fair. But neither is the sentence of fines and costs. And when I saw that, there's no way I was doing that anyway. Anybody who knows me knows I'm not going to do that in a situation like this. So I'm going to put him on a term of probation for a period of 12 months. The oversight fees are $480. $500 fine. He probably did not spend a day in jail. If he did, it was one. Do you think he had one?
He had a day and a half. He went in on the 29th, and I picked him up from Beverly Hills Police Department after the arraignment on the 30th, Your Honor.
So he got to spend 2 days. We'll give him 2. 2 days credit for 2. Right. Community service work. Actually, why don't I do this? Correct that 2 days credit for 2. I'm going to do 6 days credit for 2, and I'm going to suspend 4 days. That's the hold over your head.
Could you please repeat that a little louder?
Yes, 6 days credit for 2. The 4 days are suspended, so you will not be in jail. You only owe me that if you mess up.
We'll explain that to him.
Okay. He'll do some community service hours. He doesn't have to do physical manual labor. I don't know if he's capable without this cane or not, because there's been stories both ways. But there are places that need people to do desk work and things like that. So he'll do me 3 days community service at a nonprofit agency. No alcohol or unprescribed drugs while he's on the probation. How often does he drink, Mr. Ricadella?
He has not drank since this incident. This incident did not involve alcohol. Previously, he would have a shot glass of Irish whiskey once a month. What was it?
Once or twice a month.
Okay, so we'll do just alcohol ETG test 2 times a month. I'm not going to drug test him. No contact with the complaining witness. Miss Burbott. Pat Burbott, Burbott.
That means anything?
Yes. Burbott, Burbott, Pamela Burbott. Let's see.
And you said no testing, correct?
Now, ETG 2 times a month. No drug testing. I'm going to send him to anger management class. I'm going to do that extended 22-week class.
I didn't hear the last part, Your Honor.
I told her I'm going to send him to an extended version of that. And I believe we're going to do a bad decision-making class too.
One would be?
Bad decision-making class. There's a $75 crime victims' rights fee, no counsel fee. Counsel is retained. And that's, we did the mental health assessment, so he's not in treatment at this moment. And from all accounts, it looks like he doesn't need treatment of that kind, from what I can see. There's a $100 screening fee as well. The PSI fee is $100. Okay, that's going to complete the sentence report. There was a request for a tether.
I was asking, I understood given the kind of circumstances that you would not be putting him in the Oakland County Jail. I was having for home confinement
Yeah,
with a tether to verify.
yeah. I don't know that I want to do that.
Your Honor,
I do think that it would give Ms. Burbett some peace of mind.
Yeah.
That makes a difference with the court. We're not looking for a long-term thing here, but just while emotions settle, I think it would be
Well, I could do it short term. I'm not going to do it the whole term of the probation.
Your Honor, if I may.
Yes, go ahead,
My
Mr.
client is the caretaker of his wife. There's not been any contact since 10/29.
Mhm.
Can we please hold the tether in abeyance? There's not going to be any contact. If there's a violation, we can extend to that or the 4 days jail. I would kindly.
I wouldn't mind giving him a chance.
Thank you, Judge.
I wouldn't mind, but that's on the table, though. If he
That's fair
messes,
enough that
if
it's
he
on the
messes
table.
up,
Just ask for him to be given a chance.
okay. All right.
Your Honor, what about his guns?
Oh, yeah. No,
Those have already been turned.
yeah, possess no weapons.
And based on the conviction, he's not allowed to possess weapons. And now that we brought it up, I will bring this up. Your Honor, those guns that were taken or were removed from the home are mostly competition rifles and family heirlooms. His niece is willing to take legal custody of the family heirlooms. I've set up with a federal firearms dealer to accept the guns from Beverly Hills. I've been working with Detective Brewster, who was the detective on this case as it relates to that. Beverly Hills Police Department needs an order stating they can be released to the federal firearms dealer and then transferred to someone, not Mr. or Mrs.
Well, how do I know that someone is not going to give them back to him since nobody cares about him like he does?
Well,
It's his heirloom.
well, he's going to have the federal firearms dealer either sell them or dispose of them how they're supposed to be. They hold significant value. He's not going to have possession.
Well, Beverly Hills not going to keep him forever either.
I understand, but I have to figure out how to get them out of there legally.
Yeah.
And this is the way to do it. I'd ask.
Did you want to comment on that?
Your Honor, I share the same concern. I don't know anything about how these firearms are used. I've not participated in any conversations with the firearm dealer.
Well, tell you what, I don't have a problem with signing off on that. If you investigate so that you,
I cannot sign that.
No,
with
no.
my office, I cannot sign anything releasing guns to anybody.
that wasn't what I was saying. No, that wasn't what I was saying. I was saying you can investigate it to see if there's something you want to say on the record about the process of it. And then if it's that concerning, I might not do it. But otherwise, I'll sign it, allow them, the federal firearms people to take it, let his niece or whoever it is handle them. But she can't give them back to him.
So, Your Honor, my
That's not
understanding is that as long as it's not an instrument of the crime, so probably won't get the knife back,
Yeah.
that the guns would be released at the
Yeah.
end of probation.
Anyway, yeah, but he wants
But
to.
they can't be released to him based on statute because it precludes him from owning or possessing a firearm for 8 years. So I'm trying to get them.
Which one is that? What statute says that?
It's the CPL statute.
It says that if he's convicted of an A and B.
Disorderly conduct, it's a 3-year. Nevertheless, I think I would have to either file a motion or create a claimant delivery case. I'm trying to prevent filing a lawsuit to get them. I think it would be attached to this. And as an
Yeah.
officer of the court, I am telling you and submitting to the court that I have had the conversations with Mr. Goodman and the federal firearms dealer that will accept them and then transfer them legally. His niece is he doesn't have children.
Right, that's
His niece
all.
lives in Clinton, his niece lives in Fraser, 40 minutes away from him. He is not going to have access to them. And then any of the other firearms would be transferred from either the federal firearms dealer owns. He can receive firearms from all over the country and sell them. So he would receive them from the police department. Mr. Goodman would never possess them. And then at that point, it would be transferred to a legal owner that presumably Mr. Goodman doesn't know if they're being sold, but they do hold significant value.
Okay.
So my understanding, Judge, and it is a limited understanding, is that the concealed pistol license is what will be suspended for 8 years, meaning he can't obviously have it on his person or in his car. after this 12-month term of probation, the guns would be his to be distributed per the normal policies of the police. He just can't put them in his car, but he could certainly go there with the federal firearms dealer. He could sign off on all the paperwork. I think that is how things are normally done. That being said, I take no further position on any of this because my job is for the most part done, and I don't deal with that kind of thing, and I wouldn't even know how to.
If I filed a motion, she would have to respond to it though, so she would have to deal with it. But nevertheless, like I said, I've been working with Beverly Hills Police Department. I picked Mr. Goodman up on that day. I worked with Detective Brewster to get those guns turned to Beverly Hills. I was in constant contact with Detective Brewster, and I'm still talking to Detective Brewster to make sure the guns remain.
Well, see, this whole argument really turns on what you're saying is that he wouldn't be able per statute to possess them after a period of time because of the conviction for the NB. She thinks he could, but just not carry them. I don't know. I've not looked at the issue.
I think he's precluded, but I mean, I certainly would.
That's why I was trying to say, if everybody wanted to look a little closer with it, come back and voice an objection or not, or because I mean, she might see something and say, no, I don't think that should happen.
Well, she's indicated that she will not sign a stipulation.
Well, I don't need her to sign a stipulation. This is my courtroom. I run what I want to do.
I appreciate that.
However, within sensibilities,
How about
within my intent, which is to have him not possess any firearms.
and my feelings coincide with yours, Your Honor.
Or weapons, for that matter. Or weapons. No firearms or weapons. Knives, that
I
all.
understand that. My concern is property being held that is worth significant.
And I don't know if Beverly Hills would hold things until the probation is up, because this is what yeah. And that's what she says normally happens, and then they give it back.
Basically, what I was told from Detective Brewster is that he needs an order from the court saying you can release it to the federal firearms.
Yeah, you would need that. Otherwise, he would be holding them for a year and giving them back to him.
I'll do the research that she said that as it relates to that, and I guess we can reconvene on that, and I'll be in contact with you.
Yeah. I'm not saying no, I won't sign it. I'm just saying which is better for him.
Right. And I'll do some research on that, but the way I read the statute was averse to that. I'd like it to be that because it's a clearer picture.
Yeah, it's a little clear. So Mr. Riccadello, why don't you just call my sister and, just say you'd like to get on the calendar,
I will. I'll do my research and I'll go from there.
and then we'll just talk about it and see where we are with it. And then I can sign whichever one. I'll sign one of them. I'll say that.
Thank you, Judge.
Yes, ma'am.
Would be, if she's finished, if it's on Stewie's need, what would prevent her from bringing them back to him?
Nothing that I know of. That's what I said earlier.
Would be for one, I don't think that is going to happen, but if that were to happen and probation or a police officer went into the house and confirmed.
Yeah, I don't know. We don't do probation searches, so that's not happening.
Exactly. I mean, but I'm saying I don't know how that would be figured out.
We know if they stay at the police department till his probation is over, they go back to him and it's over. The question is just somebody's going to get the guns. They're not going to be away from him forever.
Thank you.
So it's either he's going to wait the year and get them back directly if the law lets him take them back, because you're saying the law doesn't. But there'd be no case here stopping him. And you know what? I'm not involved in whether he violates the CPO statute by getting them back or not. I'm just concerned about my order here and him not having them for the term of the probation. So if he could get them back, that might be the easiest thing. But I don't know if that's going to also put him in a position where he's violating firearm laws and he might not ever get a
I can
license.
certainly tell you that I'm not going to let my client violate the firearm laws.
Yeah. And you don't want his niece to give him back either, because that's violating the court order.
And I've had numerous conversations with her. She's
Okay.
not going to do so.
Okay. So that's where we are. All right. All right. Good luck, everybody. That concludes this matter. Okay, Karen, you can stop the video.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
That was one of the more incredible.